gaming used to be extremely fun, and the games were challenging and interesting and rewarding to the players. But since the dawn of online gaming, I would say in the early infancy of online gaming, it was actually really fun as well, and it was fair and balanced and really competitive, and the games were better. And it's amazing as time has gone on, despite what you may have heard, things don't seem to be getting better overall, but definitely we have seen the downgrading of video games. And why is that? Why is something that seems so technology driven, that should be getting better as technology has gotten better, has gotten so much worse? And the answer is very obvious and clear. The answer is because of greed, and actually, it's because of the human condition. Video games are a microcosm of the macrocosm of humanity. Our society doesn't seem to be getting better from technology. The world isn't more at peace. It's not more freedom. It's not less violence. It's not a better place, as is evidenced everywhere around you. From here to there, you could see that the world doesn't seem to be getting better. But what is specifically wrong with video gaming? And I will tell you, what is wrong with video gaming is very clear and obvious. The model is completely pay to win, and the only reason it is that way is because to drive up the stock portfolios or the profits of the companies. So let's take a look at some of the games online that are really driven by this model. And that would unfortunately be all the EA franchise games. Some of my most favorite games from my youth: Madden, FIFA, etc. These games have become ridiculous spending competitions where to be good isn't about any kind of acquired skill or knowledge of the game. It's actually how big your credit limit is on your card to buy points, to buy cards in the game to make your team better. This is always evolving. You have to keep on spending. And some of the amounts that people spend on Madden, or the time that it would take, and the money plus time when you all add it together. Because despite what you think, if you're young and you have a lot of time, or you're old and you have a lot of free time, time is still money. Time can be used for a lot of things. So time is money. Money is money. But these games take a ridiculous amount of money. People are literally spending thousands of dollars every year on Madden to only have the game reset at the end of the year and a new game to begin, rendering last year's game, last year's Ultimate Team, almost useless. And it's a constant cycle. And with all this driven revenue into these games, they haven't become better. In fact, just look at any YouTube videos about Madden. Everybody pretty much will say the same thing about any franchise of games, actually, with this kind of cycle, that they're not getting better, that they're getting far worse. And the reason for this is that these companies are more obsessed with figuring out how to get more money out of little Timmy or whoever happens to be playing their games than developing a balanced, well thought out game. In fact, it seems that the less balanced it is, the more pay to win it is, the harder it is to get the pay to win cards, the better for the company. But what is happening? The games are becoming ridiculous. People are actually getting priced out of video games. The one thing that we could enjoy has now become a rich man's paradise. So you can easily say that the lily white people, the upper class, the privileged, have also ruined video games on top of everything else. They are destroying the world. They have destroyed our cities. They have destroyed our water. They have destroyed our food with their greed. And they won't stop there. They have to go to video games. And if you don't believe this, you're just living in a stupor. You're not paying attention to what's going on. And none of this is for the benefit of anybody. Now let's take another concept that we saw through the evolution of Fortnite. When Fortnite was in its infancy, some would say the glory years, a lot of people, from Ninja to other content creators, used to complain and cry relentlessly about the advantages of playing on a console, because they wanted the advantages to be on their gaming computers, because most people can't afford a $10,000 gaming system. They could afford, $300 or $400 console system, but they can't afford a $10,000 system like a pro payer, like a youfooler, like a snitch streamer. They can't. So therefore, and the company decided that it was in their best financial interest. And you can see why. To support the content creators, they made all the advantages to the mouse and keyboard players, effectively ruling out any little kid who had dreams of being a pro video game player, know how ridiculous you may or may not think that is. Because to be one, you would need a high-end gaming PC to play this game. Therefore, consoles became kind of irrelevant. And now another trick that these companies did is they didn't do the obvious thing then, that mouse and keyboard players should be separated from controller players, that cross-platforming has nothing to do with anything but driving up revenue for the companies. Cross-platform play is not good for the game, and is definitely not good for the players. And who cares if it's good for the game if it's not good for the people that play the game? It's kind of a silly argument. It can't be good for the game if it's not good for the players. Cross-platforming in Fortnite is only good for the players that have high-end PCs. And it's like if you're playing on your console, which you may or not like to do, therefore you play at an extreme advantage. You can't be a pro payer. So what is the point? And who wants to play at a disadvantage to only lose to little teething nerds who have lily white skin and never get out and see the sunshine and laugh about you losing when they're paying to win? It's not even a competition at this point. It's just who has the best gaming PC. And obviously, if you have a PC, you don't need the best, but you get what I'm trying to say. Cross-platforming is lame. If you don't think so, you're probably dumb, or you play on a PC. That's all it is. Now let's take another game developed by Konami. Some say Konami or Koinami. And that would be eFootball, which should also be a good game, which is basically a mobile game, a card buying game. Now, the one advantage over, you might say, over Madden, this game doesn't come out every year. It's been out for a while. It's been out for many years. But they have a different scam that they play in this game. See, when you get the cards in this game, they get special abilities, like bullet header. And when you have to get this player, you have to spend upwards to $200 to $300 to roll like a slot machine to get the cards. And if you spend enough money, eventually you will get the cards you want. But as soon as the new cards come out and you get a player that has bullet header, you're going to need bullet header defense on your defenders. Therefore, you're going to need to spend again. So here we go again. The constant spending, driving revenue into the game, playing the casino to get your cards with the special abilities that counteract. And this cycle just goes on and on and on, and it never ends. And instead of putting all the resources into developing a nice playable game that may play like you would play real soccer, it's instead put into developing new and absurd abilities that break the game, that will need to be bought by the players so they can be pro payers. And the other annoying thing about eFootball, and what's really is like, I think the gameplay is better than FIFA, but the community is absolute garbage. Some of the most teething nitwits you ever met. And it's spend 2 minutes in the pause menu and then watch every cutscene to celebrate your pain, your ability to get mommy and daddy's American Express card and roll for packs, to get your pro payers to pay more so that you can watch the celebration and make people rage quit. This is why nobody plays this game. This is why everybody hates this game. So at the end of the day, it's like a vicious cycle. The pro payers and the youfoolers and the snitch streamers ruin the game. And eventually, after people's wallets are tapped out and they start to catch on that this is an ultimate scam, what do? They just stop playing the game. That's it. Nobody plays the game. So good for you, pro payers. You ran everybody out of your game because you want to sit there and pay so you can celebrate and celebrate. And all you've done is trash the game, proving what a truly worthless nitwit you are and how low IQ'd you must be. I imagine that these people are the same ones that 5 years ago were saying, Orange's maddest is naughtiest and baddest, but he warped speedest, goodest experimentalist shottest. These kind of peoples have no use for me personally. I don't take their opinion relatively. I don't care how many subscribers you have on your Twitch account. I don't care how many views your YouTube channel gets. Let's be honest. Gaming isn't getting better because of the content creators. Gaming isn't getting any better because people won't stop paying ridiculous amounts of money to play a video game. It should be that you just get a console, you buy the game. Maybe if you play it online, there's some kind of monthly subscription to support the infrastructure or the servers, which let's go to the servers. Why do the servers in every single game, why are they so bad? I'll tell you why. Because these companies are only interested in profits and driving profits. This is a capitalistic investment. And if they can get you to play on bad servers and keep on paying ridiculous amounts of money to play the game, that's what they're going to do. So that's what they're doing. And it's never going to end until it stops. And if your friends are telling you otherwise, that's because they enjoy being better at you, because they figured out how to get the better cards. They figured out how to get the better controller with a script. They figured out how to cheat, basically, and they just don't want you to know. But I'll tell you the truth. This has to stop. We need to go back to the day when you could just get a console and play with the actual controller that came with your console. The game should be developed well so that there's no other advantage. And cheaters should be put out of the game. Money should be put, if you're going to have a game and you're going to actually say, if you have the audacity to say that this is an e-sport, or a sport of any kind, it's not allowed in football for the other team to have a better football than you. Yeah, we paid more money, so our football will fly 20 more yards through the air. And our receivers we paid more money so they could have gloves that catch every ball. This is ridiculous. The public would never stand for it. But in video games, it's not even questioned. Nobody cares. And this just shows the low IQ of the payer base. Yes, I was right. The payer base, the teething nitwits will actually endorse this stuff. And I'll tell you what, they don't do it for long. After a while, they all quit. That's why all these games are dying. That's why by the end of the year, nobody's playing Madden. That's why nobody plays eFootball. That's why when you look at the content creators, nobody watches it and nobody cares, because they finally figured out how ridiculous this model is. The pro payer model. I'm a pro payer. Well, good for you, brother. We need to stop this nonsense. There needs to be a movement to reform video games, and it needs to happen now. Stop paying ridiculous amounts of money for pay-to-win advantages in video games. Demand better. Demand that these games be developed better. And you'll see companies that will come out and fill this need if there's a demand for it. But right now, nobody cares. So stop asking yourself the question over and over again, why does online video games suck so bad? I told you why it sucks. It sucks because the business model is pay to win, and there's enough teething nitwits in this world who are willing to do it with the over and over and over again.